welcome back to our channel. My name is Efren, software engineer here at SymFinTek, and today I want to show you a very powerful feature called Bills Related. It's going to help you save a lot of time, a lot of headaches, and ensure accuracy in your commissions. You're going to be able to adjust and manage commissions by relating bills and invoices. So I'm going to show you what that looks like in a second. So join me as I walk you through every step that you need to know to use this feature effectively. Let's get right into it. Okay, so how does the bill related feature work? This feature is going to help you relate bills and invoices so that when you calculate commissions, the cost of the invoice detail lines where you relate a bill are going to be adjusted based on the amount for that bill. How does that work? Let me show you. Let's go to an invoice. Right now, we see this invoice. It has two detail lines. One's for an Acer computer, one's for a Lego piece set. And we're thinking, okay, I know that this invoice incurred in a bill for X amount. So let's go to the bills related tab. This is a tab added by the commission conductor. And we're going to create a record. So we see that we have a bill, and let's select a bill. I created a bill through this example. So let's sort this descending, and I got this bill right here. So this bill's for $50. So what happens when I link this bill over here? We're going to save this. Okay, there we go. Now our bill is officially linked to the invoice. And there's also a very helpful trick over here where we can relate not only bills to invoices, but invoices to bills. So it goes both ways. Right here we see our invoice, it has been related. So bill 2865, bill 2865, it has been related over here. We remove it over here, save the document, go back to our invoice, it's gone. It goes both ways. We can relate bills to invoices and invoices to bills, whichever works best for you. And there's also another useful trick. We can not only relate bills to invoices, we can relate bill lines to invoices. So let's find our bill again. And let's say this invoice actually didn't incur in the whole bill. It was only for the cleaning fee. So we're going to say, okay, let's just select the cleaning fee. There we go. If you select a line, it's only going to adjust the cost for this invoice detail lines based on that line. If you leave this blank, you're going to see over here that a little green check comes up, and it says, leaving bill line number blank will prorate all lines from the bill. What does this mean? Well, it's the same as if you selected all detail lines from the bill. It's going to use them all. It's going to get the full amount. In this case, this bill is for $50. This is the amount that it's going to use to adjust your invoice detail lines. If you select only one, meaning cleaning fee, for example, it's only going to prorate that $20. Okay, so that's great to know. How does this impact commissions? I know that there's a way where it's going to be adjusting them. How does that work? How is it going to adjust them? Well, let's answer that question. Okay, let me show you how that looks like. We go to the commissions menu, incentive profiles, and we create a new incentive. Let's say test bills related. And then let's do test bills related. And then everything else here you can fill out as usual based on your settings, based on your commissions. But here's the way magic happens. We're going to go to the adjustments tab over here, and we're going to go to the general adjustments. So right over here you see that we have multiple options. Some of them we cover in some of our other videos. We're going to focus right now on the adjust cost by related bills. At this point, we have already related those bills, but they are not applying any adjustments as of now. We have to enable this option for our incentive to start applying those adjustments. Enable this, and we get these two options, cost prorate option and cost prorate base. So what do they mean? Well, the cost prorate option, it's a drop down. It's going to let you choose how you want the cost to be distributed. You choose stock items, it's only going to apply to stock items on those invoices. Choose non-stock items, it's going to focus only on non-stock items. Choose both, it's them. And then you also have the cost prorate base. It determines how the costs coming from the bill are going to be prorated on those invoice lines. So revenue, that means the cost is going to be distributed proportionally to the revenue of those invoice detail lines. So the way it's going to prorate is going to do it based on the revenue. You can also choose to do it based on cost. So it's going to prorate, it's going to distribute that amount coming from the bill based on the cost on those items. You can also choose to do it based on quantity. It's really up to preference and your use case. So we're going to save this as it is right now. And if we wanted this incentive to work, we will have to go and create a filter, create the person role incentives. We cover all of that in our guides on this same channel. So if you're not familiar with that terminology, I recommend you go check that out. We're gonna skip those steps right now and we're gonna focus on this option. I have already created a set of example incentives that we're gonna be looking at for our commissions. Okay, so right now we're gonna do something. We're gonna go back to our invoice and we're gonna remove this bill. Why are we doing this? Well, it's quite simple. I want to show you how it looks, how our incentives gonna generate commissions when no bills are related. So this is the usual use case. This is what you're doing right now. So let's go over here. Let's go to commissions, calculate commissions. I think our incentive, this invoice is quite old, 2022. Let's go back to 2022. Let's say this day because I'm not sure. And we have a set of incentives over here that I've already set up. One is to calculate on non-stock items, one's to calculate on stock and non-stock items, and one's for stock items only. For this example, this one only has stock items. I have already set this one up for stock items. So let's do that one. Stock item, process, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. That's done. Close this window, go back to our invoice, go to the commission records tab, and we're gonna see here the commissions that just generated for this invoice. Scroll to the right and let's take a look. For our computers, we see that the original cost was $500. The original cost for our Legos was $50. We see that the revenue was $1,000, $110. How is this incentive set up? Let's take a look. Let's go to the adjustments, general. We see that it's based on on stock items. That makes sense. We're only doing stock items right now. And the prorate based is based on cost. Okay, so how's that gonna work? Let's go back to our invoice. If we take a look for the computers, we have original revenue $1,000, original cost of $500. For our Legos, we have original revenue of $110 and the cost is $50. Okay, so this means that if we add a bill for any amount, the cost, the final adjusted cost amount for the Lego should be less affected than that of the computers, because the computers is $500. So any amount that we bring in, we know it's being prorated based on the cost, as we looked at the incentive. So we know that any amount that we bring in, this record is gonna be affected a lot more. It's $500 versus $50. Let's see if that happens. Go to the bills related tab. Let's look for bill again. Right over here. And let's do the whole $50. This bill's for $50. Let's do the whole $50. All right. You're gonna see something cool right now. If you go back to the commission records, they're gone. Why? Because if you relate a bill, this means that you're changing how the commissions for that invoice are gonna work. So the system automatically tells, okay, I gotta get rid of these commissions. So let's go back to calculate commissions, select our incentive again, process, and we'll be right back. All right, so that's done. Let's close this window. Go back to our invoice, refresh this tab, commission records, they're back here, and let's see if there's a difference. We know that the original $500, $50. We know that we added a bill for $50. What's going to happen to the cost? There we go. It's changed. So the one line, the Lego line, which was for $50, it got affected and it got increased by $4.55. Same thing happened to the computers. Now it has been increased by $45.45. So we see that the prorate has been applied based on the cost on these two stock items. Now, I want to show you an example of another invoice that I have where I got stock and non-stock items at the same time. We're going to test that out. We're going to see what happens. Let's see. Okay, so let's see what happens. Let's go to invoice 9681. This is an example that I got set up, and we can see here that we got one stock item line, one non-stock item line, and then another stock item line. We got no bills related, and we got no commission records. So I want to show you what happens if we relate a bill. Let's see. So this bill for $550. What is going to happen? Because we have two different types of incentives right here. We got non-stock item and we got stock items. So let's see. All right, it's done. Let's close this window. Go back to our invoice, commission records, refresh this grid, and we see we had a bunch of commission records right here. We're gonna filter by non-stock first, just so it's easier to understand. Scroll to the right, and let's see. So our original cost right here, $500 for the first stock item, $0 for the non-stock item, and $200 for a second stock item. That looks great. Scroll over to the right, we see that the final adjusted cost amount for our computer remains $500. Why? Because it's a stock item. Look at the incentive. It says non-stock items and it says based on revenue. Our stock items are not affected. You can see here and here. So the bill that was for $550, as we can see here, it got applied in total, the whole amount, to the non-stock item. So that makes sense. That looks good. So let's see. What if we filter by stock and non-stock item now? This should affect everything, every single thing here. Let's take a look. So our original cost, $500, $0, $200. What happened now? They're all being adjusted. And how are they being adjusted? Let's go see here. So stock and non-stock item, and they're based on revenue. And why are they based on revenue? Because it only makes sense for them to be. Why? Because this is a non-stock item. Of course, it's going to have no cost. So if we do it based on cost, then this is not going to be affected at all. And that's not what we want. We want it to be affected. We want it to be calculated either by revenue or by quantity. And then we get these results. Okay, so which one's affected the most? Well, of course, the first one, the computer, because it's $1,000 revenue. Then comes the backup, because it's $500 revenue. And lastly, the hard drive, because it's only $300 in revenue. So you see here how that $550 has been prorated among all these lines. And you can also choose to add more than one. Let's see. What about we add that one for $50? And not only that, but I want to do only the $30 from the miscellaneous charges. I don't want to do everything. So let's save that. Recalculate commissions. And let's see our final results. Okay, that's done. Go back to our invoice. Check the bills. Looking good. Check the commission records. Refresh that. Scroll to the right. Scroll, scroll, scroll. And we see here there has been a change to our final adjusted cost amount, because now there's an extra $30 that we have to account for, and we have to prorate among these lines. We can also check for the non-stock right here. Scroll to the right. Now, instead of being $550, it's now $580, because there is one bill for $580, for $550, and there is one bill line for $30. So it's not the full $50 from the bill. It's only the $30 from the bill line. So that's good. That's good. All right. So we've covered a lot of ground. So let's quickly recap. First step to use the bills use the bills related feature would be to check the adjust cost by related bills checkbox at the incentive level, select the correct cost prorate options and cost prorate base based on our use case, and finally relate the bills to the invoices or the invoices to the bills. And remember that you can focus on specific lines. You don't have to relate the full document, you can just relate specific lines if that's what you need. So anyway, I hope this walkthrough has been helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you want to see more tips from our channel, more tutorials, and thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Bye bye.